Duncan has the edge in finals MVPs. Duncan also has 2 league MVPs compared to Kobe's 1. Obviously, 2 of the best ever. Stephen A., I'll start with you here. But who had the better career?
Oh, believe it or not, I have to say Tim Duncan, with all due respect to my man Kobe Bryant. I mean, when you consider the model of consistency that Tim Duncan was able to put forth, then David Robinson has a title because of Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is a 5-time champion. As that chart just showed, just as many titles as Kobe Bryant, more NBA Finals MVPs. You got to take that into consideration. The fact that he is universally recognized as the greatest power forward to have ever played the game. Was a 10-time,
Duncan is easily the greatest power forward of all time. And he's for sure close with Kobe. Their careers are similar. They paralleled each other in many ways, although in very different styles. And so it's not, I'm saying, Stephen A., like this is an easy call. But if push comes to shove and you say who had the greater career, I have to go Kobe Bryant. Charles Barkley's right. Kobe Bryant is the closest thing we've ever seen to Michael Jordan. Stephen, I remember early on doing radio in New York City when, before Kobe was really acknowledged on the Magic Bird level by a lot of people, I used to argue with callers and hold on a second, because Kobe's obviously a national figure his entire career. Offensively, he's the equivalent of Magic or Bird, and defensively, he's better. I mean, how much more is there? Offense and defense. Well, you could say, well, the effect the guy has on a team. But whatever you want to say about that, and Kobe could have at times a deleterious effect on a team depending on the composition of the team, he won 5 championships. 5. And proved after Shaq as the second banana, but just barely. It was 1 and 1A or 1A and 1B, that he could be the lead guy on a championship team when
video, because somebody in my comments on the LeBron versus Kobe video said that Kobe not even better than Tim Duncan. And this is a video that I was going to make and probably was going to make anyway, because I've been already thinking about this, and I feel like it's always been an interesting topic and something to discuss, because to me, Kobe and Tim Duncan is closer than Kobe and LeBron to me. I do feel like Tim Duncan and Kobe are both top 5 players. And I think that both should be put in the top 5. Where they rank in the top 5, I don't know. I'll probably make my top 10 players of all time list. But knowing basketball, and when it comes to watching these players and knowing their resumes and stuff like that, I feel like Tim Duncan and Kobe is definitely the best players of the last 20 years. They definitely was the 2 top players of the 2000. From 2000 to 2010, Tim Duncan and Kobe was the best players in the NBA. Because you could look at Shaq, but Shaq was dominant in the beginning, but he was all right in the middle 2000, but then fell off at the end. And the same for LeBron. LeBron didn't win no championship in the 2000s, and he didn't join the league until 2003. So it just, them the only 2 players that it could be who was good from 2000 to 2010 was still dominant in the top 5 player almost every year during the decade. So I think that it's an interesting conversation to look at. So just like with the LeBron and Kobe debate, because to me, how I settle which player is better or who should be ranked higher on the GOAT list, I look at accomplishments, stats, and then I also use the eye test of which one of these players was better. Take away everything, which one of these players was individually better, because we know that stats and championships is a team accomplishment, and it's a lot that goes into that. But we can just judge how good the players is just by watching them. But I also do take in consideration, of course, accolades and stats, because you have to. So I wanted to bring this up. Kobe versus Tim Duncan head-to-head comparison. So this site pretty much got it broken down, because Kobe and Tim Duncan is both retired. as of right now. So their careers are done also. So it's kind of easier to compare them than it is with Kobe and LeBron because LeBron not done playing. So when we look at it, when it comes to championships, we know Kobe and Tim Duncan both have 5. Kobe played 20 years. Tim Duncan played 19, about the same amount of years. Kobe made it to the playoffs 15 times. Tim Duncan made it 18, about the same. All-Star games, Kobe made 18 and Tim Duncan made 15. Regular season MVPs, Kobe had 1, Tim Duncan had 2. Finals MVP, Kobe had 2, Tim Duncan had 3. All NBA first teams, Kobe had 11, Tim Duncan had 10. So basically, all NBA first team means that you was the best player that year, like one of the top 5 players that year. So 11 out of Kobe 20 seasons, he was the best player, and 10 out of 19. So they both was the best player for the same amount of years because Kobe played 1 more year than Tim Duncan. All defensive teams, Kobe made 12. No, I skipped over all defensive first teams. Kobe made 9, Tim Duncan made 8. All defensive teams total selections, including second and third defensive teams, Tim Duncan made 15 and Kobe made 12. Scoring leaders or scoring championships, Kobe won 2, Tim Duncan didn't win none. Rookie of the year, Tim Duncan won, Kobe didn't win. So when we look at their career averages, points per game, Kobe was 25, Tim Duncan was 19. Rebounds, Kobe was 5, Tim Duncan was 10. Assists, Kobe was 4.7, Tim Duncan was 3. Steals per game, Kobe was 1.4, Tim Duncan was 0.7. Blocks, Kobe was 0.5, averaged a half a block. Tim Duncan averaged 2 blocks. Total points, Kobe got 33,643. Tim Duncan got 26,496. Total rebounds, Kobe got 7,000. Tim Duncan got 15,000. Total assists, Kobe got 6,000. Tim Duncan got 4,000. Total steals, Kobe got 1,900. Tim Duncan got 1,000. Total blocks, Kobe got 640. Tim Duncan got 3,000. Total games played, Kobe played 1,346 and Tim Duncan played 1,392. So Tim Duncan played more games despite him playing one less season. Field goal percentage, Kobe was 44%. Tim Duncan was 50%. 3-point percentage, Kobe was 32%. Tim Duncan was 17%. Free throw percentage, Kobe was 83%. Tim Duncan was 69%. And then they compare their best seasons. Kobe highest points per game season was 35. Tim Duncan was 25. Kobe, the most rebounds Kobe had in the season was 03, was 6.9. And Tim Duncan's most was 12.9. His was in 03 also. Kobe, the most assists Kobe averaged was in 2014. He averaged 6. Tim Duncan was in 03 also. He averaged 3.9. Steals per game, Kobe best season was 03, 2.2. Tim Duncan's was 1999 with almost 1 steal. Blocks, Kobe best season was the 99 with 1 block a game. Tim Duncan's was 03 with basically 3 blocks. Then when we look at the playoffs, points per game, Kobe is 25, Tim Duncan is 20. Rebounds, Kobe averaged 5, Tim Duncan averaged 11. Assists, Kobe averaged 4.7, Tim Duncan averaged 3. Steals, Kobe averaged 1.4, Tim Duncan averaged 0.7. Blocks, Kobe averaged 0.7, Tim Duncan averaged 2.3. Total points, Kobe led 5,600 to 5,100. Total rebounds, Tim Duncan led 2,800 to Kobe 1,100. Total assists, Kobe had 1,000 to Tim Duncan 747. Steals, Kobe had 310 to Tim Duncan 187. Blocks, Kobe had 144 to Tim Duncan 568 total playoff games. Kobe played 220. Tim Duncan played 251. Okay, so this is the last. So field goal percentage in the playoffs, Kobe was 44 percent. Tim Duncan was 50%. 3-point percentage, Kobe was 33%. Tim Duncan was at 14%. Free throw percentage, Kobe was 81%. Tim Duncan was 68%. And then their best seasons, Kobe best season in the playoffs was in 07. He averaged 32. Tim Duncan best season was in 02. He averaged 27. Rebounds, Kobe best season was 01. He averaged 7.3. Tim Duncan best season was 03. He averaged 15.4. Assists, Kobe in 01, he averaged 6.1. Tim Duncan averaged 5.3. Steals was 04. Kobe averaged 1.9. Tim Duncan in 2015 averaged 1.3. Blocks was in 2000. Kobe averaged 1.5 and Tim Duncan averaged 4.3. So that's the stats and the accolades. What I get from this is that, like I said, their careers is very comparable because they both played the same amount of seasons, the same amount of playoff seasons. Like they timelines really link up with each other. And then even you looking, because Tim Duncan went crazy in 03, but that was Kobe's best season for a lot of stuff also. So looking at it, I want to say it's real comparable. Going by the accolades, it's really kind of neck and neck when I look at it. I see Kobe in certain things, and then I see Tim Duncan in certain things. But what this really comes down to, and what's funny is that they similar, but it's hard to compare because this is the difference in why positions matter and why it's hard to compare a guard to a forward or a center, basically, what Tim Duncan was at the end of his career. That's what it really comes down to because certain stuff like, of course, Tim Duncan is going to average more rebounds and blocks because he's taller and bigger and closer to the basket. Like 9 times out of 10, a center power forward is going to average more rebounds and blocks than a guard. And the same thing for a guard. 9 times out of 10, a guard is going to average more assists than a center or a power forward. So it makes sense that Kobe average more assists than Tim Duncan does. So in certain aspects, it's hard to really compare a guard to a center. And when it comes to, like I said, the accolades, they both got the same rings. Tim Duncan got the slight edge. He got one more MVP and one more Finals MVP. Kobe had more scoring titles, made more All-Star games. I think had more All-NBA first teams. So, I mean, it's really neck and neck. And this is how I look at it. Because I say if somebody put Kobe over Tim Duncan, I can't be mad. If somebody put Tim Duncan over Kobe, I can't be mad. It's really that close. It really depends on what do you like more, a guard or a forward. That's literally what it comes down to. If you starting a team, do you want a forward or a center, a big man, or do you want a guard? That's what it really comes down to. So, I mean, in my personal opinion, 'cause like I said, I'm gonna make my top 10 list, and it's gonna be real close with each other. Because giving my unbiased opinion when it comes to who I think the top 10 greatest players is, but when it comes to, of course, I'm more of a Kobe fan than a Tim Duncan fan, even though I am a huge Tim Duncan fan. People ain't like Tim Duncan. I love the way Tim Duncan played. And certain times I played like Tim Duncan, and people would call me the big fundamental, like you just mastered the fundamentals of playing the game. And that's how I am with a lot of stuff. Like I mastered the fundamentals of doing stuff and make it work for sure. So I even had a Tim Duncan jersey, and I love that jersey. So I'm a big Tim Duncan fan, but of course Kobe, probably my favorite player right there with Jordan, of course. So I mean, if I had to pick I probably would give Kobe the slight edge right up now, and I only say that because when we bring up using the eye test or who had more help and looking at the context of things, I feel like Kobe, of course, had to go through more trials and tribulations than Tim Duncan had to go through. You know, Tim Duncan was with the same organization, but he was the backbone of that organization. And we know he had a great coach. He excelled because we know Tony Parker and Ginobili was great players, but you know, they was like second round picks and he kind of overachieved with them. Then he got Kawhi, who ended up being a great player. So he did have great players, but he was the backbone of the team. Like I can't take that away from him, you know. And a lot of people gonna say he didn't play with Shaq, you know, but he did still play with great players. His whole career, David Robinson, you know, like Tim Duncan never really had a all around just bad, just horrible team. And then watching him play, I mean, of course, Kobe's style fits what people like more so. Of course, it's more exciting to watch Kobe than Tim Duncan. So if I had to choose, of course, I would watch Kobe, but I don't think that actually like makes him more skilled or better than Tim Duncan. Like I said, Tim Duncan, he did what he did on that court. Like I said, he was a double-double machine and he was a great defensive player. Like Tim Duncan got 20 and 10 and was one of the best defenders. Like Tim Duncan low-key might be underrated. Like I said, Tim Duncan in my top 5. And like I said, I can break it down once I get to my top 10 list. Like Tim Duncan has to be in the top 5, you know, especially modern day players. Because I said, including Bill and Wilt, which hard to do, whatever. But like I said, in my players, Tim Duncan has to be top 5 because Tim Duncan got the rings. He got MVP. He got everything that it needs to be in the top 5. And like I said, if you love basketball, like you have to appreciate Tim Duncan game. Like he was that dude on the court. So I can't take that from him. So to me, it's really neck and neck. It's whoever you pick out, you can't go wrong. Do you need a guard or a forward? But I do think that this is what's funny and it's crazy. And I'm in a video with this. I do think that they both ranked over LeBron. I do have Tim Duncan and Kobe ranked both over LeBron, and I can explain why more so once I get into my list. But I kind of already broke down why I have Kobe over LeBron in the last video, but Tim Duncan is also over LeBron. Like Tim Duncan was just better and he didn't have as many fail. It's a lot to it, but like I said, I'll get to that. But that's my take on the Tim Duncan versus Kobe debate.